Hi, and welcome to Optimum TV. I'm Stephen Adams, and today I'm joined by Jason Loveridge, CEO of 4SC. 4SC is based in Munich in Germany, and it is developing innovative small molecule drugs for cancer. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Stephen, and thanks for having us on the channel.
Not at all. Tell me a little bit about 4SC.
Yeah, so we're a German-based biopharmaceutical company. We're in Munich, and we're focused on the development of our lead drug candidate, resminostat, for the treatment of patients with a type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma called cutaneous T-cell lymphoma.
Okay, and give us a little bit more information about cutaneous T-cell lymphoma.
Sure. It's a rare type of disease. It's obviously a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, but it affects the skin. At the moment, unfortunately, patients don't have any available treatments that are either curative or that can improve overall survival. It's an orphan indication, around 100,000 patients in the developed economies, of which around 7,000 patients are in the EU with advanced disease who could potentially benefit from treatment with resminostat. So from a commercial point of view, we see that as a sort of 500 million euro opportunity and really ideal for a small company like 4SC.
Okay. And tell me, how does resminostat work? What's its mode of action?
Yeah, so resminostat, it's an orally administered drug, a so-called histone deacetylase inhibitor. In CTCL, resminostat upregulates a group of genes called Th1 genes and reduces another group called Th2 genes. And it's this imbalance between Th1 and Th2 which causes the pathogenesis of CTCL, and particularly an increase in the expression of Th1-related genes. So resminostat upregulates the good genes, the Th1 group, and reduces the Th2 group. And we hope that we have shown that it will reduce disease progression.
Okay. And tell me what the future holds for resminostat, and I guess I mean in terms of where you are in clinical trials and where you're hoping to go, and also from a market point of view, how close you think you might be to market.
Yeah, so we're at a comparatively late stage compared with a lot of companies. We recently reported positive data from our pivotal study, which we called RESMAIN. So RESMAIN was one of the largest studies ever conducted in the advanced CTCL stage. And we completed that in 2023, and data was presented at two key conferences last year by the principal investigator, Rudi Stadler. That was first of all at the EORTC Cutaneous Lymphoma Tumor Group meeting, and then in the US at the 5th World Congress of Cutaneous Lymphomas. Bit of a mouthful, but we get there in the end. And I think the data was really well received, and the first time that we've seen data in the maintenance setting showing that this type of approach can really show benefit in CTCL.
Okay.
From a regulatory and a commercial and marketing point of view,
yeah.
Because we had positive data, we then spent time really pulling together our marketing authorization application, and we filed that with the European Medicines Agency in February of this year, 2024. We just received the initial feedback from EMA. We expect to get their questions pretty soon and probably spend the rest of this year addressing the questions that they've raised. And then if the MAA is ultimately successful, we would expect resminostat to be available on the European market in 2025 and probably on the Japanese market in 2026, because we've already partnered the drug with Yakult Honsha in Japan. So in the meantime, we're obviously evaluating our different commercialization options. We're talking to potential partners to ensure that we really get a rapid market entry after approval and can address reimbursement concerns and get the drug available to both patients and clinicians as quickly as possible and provide them with a novel and unique therapeutic option that they don't have at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, you've certainly got a solid roadmap going forward. Beyond resminostat, is 4SC working on anything else?
No, that's really our focus. We did have other drugs in development, which we've either partnered with other groups or we've discontinued. So for us, resminostat is our real core focus, and that's what will drive value for shareholders in 24 and 25.
So CTCL, what's the prognosis for patients with this disease? And do you think resminostat will have a significant impact on that prognosis?
So CTCL, it's a very long disease. It's not like a lot of other cancers. Patients have the disease sometimes from a very early age, and they have it throughout their life. They tend to become, well, in the early stages of disease, they're treated with so skin treatments and things like this, creams and other things. But then as the disease becomes systemic, and it almost inevitably always becomes systemic, patients then have to receive various other more complicated treatments, and there are a number of treatments available for patients, but unfortunately none of these treatments currently really impacts overall survival or is curative. And the goal, if you like, of almost all treatments in CTCL is to prolong disease progression, to try and halt the disease at whatever stage it's at, and to prevent it from progressing, and to help those patients sort of maintain that status. And this is where resminostat really has a role to play, because I think maintenance is an obvious approach if that's your goal. And I think resminostat, certainly the data that we've seen in ResMain, shows that we can really prevent disease progression in a very extensive fashion. And I think it adds a unique and really helpful new opportunity for clinicians to help these very desperate patients.
Jason, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Stephen. Nice to speak to you.
Okay, goodbye.